Hi traders, this is Chris with Elite Currency looking at the Forex market analysis and potential trade setups of 24 to 26 September. Alright, let's start with the dollar index. We're looking at a weekly chart and basically we see that price is retesting the resistance, the broken support, now resistance. 2 weeks ago we had a strong bearish candle, two slightly bullish candles, but much indecision there as price retests that zone. And you can see from a bigger picture how these bottoms are broken. This basically a bit of indecision at the moment on the dollar. I think that considering the break, I'm still slightly leaning towards a bearish continuation. But obviously last week's low and last week's high, very important levels for understanding if there's going to be a breakout or not and which direction. So taking that info into account, let's continue with other pairs. Also taking, first of all, taking a look at the euro pound here. It looks like more euro pressure to the downside is expected. We see this bearish fall right here. Look at this strong momentum to the downside. Look at the red arrow. And at this moment, I see a three-wave correction in the blue, which is A, B, C. So this C wave could end right here at the previous top of wave A, basically, or perhaps even extend up to the 38.2 fib, max 50 fib, the very max. I'm not really expecting price to go up to the 50 fib, but sometimes it can kind of extend itself. I'm not expecting that though, but if it does get there, there is a strong resistance spot because of this supply and demand zone, it's often called. It's a range that broke to the downside, momentum, range, momentum. So the bottom of that could be resistance 2 plus the top. So basically, I'm looking for here a turn or here a turn, and price might make, or here, right, as I said, for one more push lower with this bearish momentum. Now on the hourly chart, how do we know which one is going to happen? Well, basically, if it breaks through the support trend line that I have here, then I think a breakout is likely. We'll be looking for a break here towards the minus 272 target at around 86.50, as you can see. So a break of that trend line is a breakout, and the ABC will be completed. If it does get to 38.2 fib, or the 50, I'll be looking for bearish candlestick patterns on the 1 hour, 4 hour charts for a turn in this zone. Let's take a look at the euro dollar now. Of course, the dollar index already showing choppiness, and that is translated into euro dollar by this big sideways zone. For the last 2-3 weeks already, price has gone sideways. And well, basically, I'm going to keep the euro dollar analysis a bit shorter because I'm going to have a specific euro dollar video only looking at the euro dollar, so I'll keep it to the point. But basically, uptrend, sideways zone. This sideways range could see a retracement that goes to these targets, a deeper retracement, or we can see a breakout. So there could be a bullish breakout with the trend, a bearish breakout against the trend, and if price gets to these fibs, these targets, they could be bouncing spots for trend continuation. At the moment, price is in a range, and basically there could be trades within this range. So if price makes a little bit of a hook back like this, it could fall from the top of the range down to the bottom. And if it bounces at the bottom, it could make a little bit of a hook back and move back to the upside. So I'll explain more with regard to the euro dollar in a separate video. Moving on to the pound dollar, basically we see that here too, very strong uptrend. Why? Well, look at the moving averages. The 21 EMA, or this is the 34 EMA, being torn apart from the 144. As you can see, the space basically is growing, as you can see. So a lot of momentum on the pound dollar to the upside, and we had recently still a continuation with a higher high. But price made a strong fall during last week's FOMC statement, and I was already indicating that this upside is probably going to face resistance as price might be making a small head and shoulders here on the 4 hour chart. On 1 hour chart, we might see that a little bit better. Hence, this upside could be an ABC, could be very limited, might bump into rejection and resistance and make a bigger correction. That's exactly what it did, and you can see how it looks like, and why patterns and wave patterns are important. Because although the trend is up, right, there were clues in here that said, listen, be careful with upside, this might correct bigger, right? And that's based on basically the SWOT analysis, our system and method that we use, and that's why we came up with that conclusion, and indeed that happened. So that's why I just want to show you the importance of using this kind of ideas and concepts. So what next? Well, basically I think that the pound dollar will still continue higher because this 4-hour momentum is so strong. But what could happen is that price might make a deeper retracement, for instance, to the 38.2 fib when putting the fib from here to here, like this, and we could see that as a bouncing spot towards the minus 272 target at 138.75. All right. So what I'm looking for is for price to either, and we'll put a trend line like this, right? Either basically break below this support trend line like that, these trend lines, because we didn't have a close below this support. So we'll have to see how the the chart opens up on Sunday evening. But this could still be a bouncing spot. If price does break below it, then as I said, we could have a bigger retracement to the 38.2 fib. Let me take a look on the 4-hour chart. That's around 133.50. So in that case, there could be a break, pullback, continue down to the minus 61.8 target, which could be a bouncing spot with the trend, the bigger trend on the 4-hour and daily chart. All right. So if it does bounce here, right, then price could stay in a range. It might make one more dip like this, ultimately make a sideways zone, and then I would expect a continuation too. In that case, I would probably be looking for a break above this trend line like this, and we'll be waiting for a break, pullback, continuation. All right. So these trend lines are very important on the pound dollar for the upcoming week, and looking for a break to the downside, break to the upside, and then also a bounce to the upside within the larger trend. Now the odd USD daily chart is looking a bit different in my view. Overall, it is bullish, true, just like the pound, but there is a difference. And the pound dollar, let me show you, is basically, or the odd dollar, sorry, is you can see choppier than the pound dollar. You see the difference, right, on the 4-hour chart, definitely. So basically what happened is we have a lower high and a lower low, and we had a pretty strong bearish candle. This could be a retracement. I think the minus 272 target or the minus 61.8 target are areas where price could fall to, and they could also be bouncing spots, by the way. So for the moment, I'm bearish, and I'm expecting price to get to these fibs. We can connect these bottoms, and you can see that there's space towards this minus 272 target, first of all. Excuse me. But the price is making an upside, so how does that fit? Let's take a look at the hourly chart. All right. Bit choppy, by the way, so it could be also a good currency pair just to skip entirely. But basically, I think that it looks like 5 waves down here. We might see an ABC correction, and like this. So what would I do in that case? I put a fib on the expected wave A, and typically with an ABC zigzag, price will go to the 50, 38, 61.8 fib, somewhere in here, this blue zone, and get up to the minus 272 target or the minus 61.8 target. So trades, from my perspective, could be from here up to here, or from here down to, what did I say? The minus 272 target at 79-ish, right? So from about 80, 25-ish, down to 79. Or from 79.50 up to about 80 and 80.25. Those are the ideas I have in mind for the upcoming week. Overall, it's pretty choppy though, so nothing wrong to skip it. But I wouldn't be surprised if there's one more bounce like this. There could be a head and shoulders inverted one, then up to maybe the minus 61.8 target at 50 fib, where we have resistance levels 2, and down it goes to back to the support. Choppy move, I know, but seems most likely at this point. So on the Kiwi, we're looking at basically, in my view, probably, well, it's difficult to say this Kiwi because we have momentum up, we have momentum down, we have choppy up. So that's just looking at the swings. Respect for the 50 fib, respect for the 61.8 fib. I think that this is not looking that interesting to me, but ultimately could follow the Aussie and make a downside and upside and kind of make an ABC correction like this. So, and then it might face again resistance here too. When looking at trend lines, right, this one probably important, and this one. And on the daily chart, of course, we would add this one, like this. So basically, that's about it for the moment. Looking for a break here to retest this, or a break, sorry, I should use blue. Or a break here to retest maybe this support line like that. And basically, of course, price could bounce here too for a move up like this. So some range trades, but that could follow the Aussie. We can look at the odd New Zealand quickly, just to get an idea, and you can see that Kiwi upside, New Zealand dollar upside might be, which is called a Kiwi as a nickname, might be a bit better, and Aussie downside might be a bit better because odd New Zealand is in a downtrend, and most recently price did break below this bear flag, as you can see. So looks like it's continuing lower. No divergence on the 4-hour chart. On the hourly chart, not either. So there could be a single divergence eventually, but that's not all too important on the hourly chart. So looks like in a sturdy downtrend. So what that means is Aussie weakness is better, Kiwi strength against the dollar is probably better. Dollar CAD is an interesting one. It retraced a lot deeper than I expected, but you know those things happen. Especially got a warning when price broke above this trend line like this, and well, basically it could continue higher and go to the 61.8 fib. If it breaks above this resistance trend line, right, there could be a move up to the minus, sorry, not the minus, but the 61.8 fib like this, and if price breaks through the heavy support zone, why heavy? Because if you look at the 4-hour chart, a lot of higher lows, in fact, and a lot of higher highs. So there's a heavy level of, or layer, or zone of support. But if price manages to break below it, or at least partially through it with some good momentum, makes a bear flag, then I would be looking for a trade to the downside to 120, then later on to 119, as you can see. All right. If it hits the 61.8 fib, that would be a very important level as well. That could be a turnaround spot too. So dollar CAD looking interesting. Gold making a bear flag at this moment. Look at this pattern, pretty neat bear flag, good momentum to the downside. So I think that a continuation at this moment seems likely. And when it breaks that bear flag, the 1275 I think is the target, the minus 272 target right there. And of course we have also a good trend line, resistance trend line. So if price does make one more upside into this confluence of resistance, because there's a bear flag top, there's a resistance trend line, 38.2 fib. No, yeah, 38.2 fib indeed, because price stopped at the 23.6 fib here. That could be a sweet zone for that downside to 1275. Euro yen is kind of in this channel to the upside. Overall uptrend, but slowing down its momentum, right? Overall, also the daily chart in uptrend, as you can see, right? And well, basically, still remains bullish in my view. So if it's, let's see how it responds to the bottom of this channel. If it breaks that, the 38.2 fib could still be a bouncing spot, by the way, at around 132.50, 132.75 to be precise. And of course, if it bounces here, it could still be a potential long for a move within this channel. The channel is pretty shallow, but could still be something to trade. Pound yen, pretty much bullish too. Look at this upside momentum. Look at the moving averages, right? Could be support, and we see a lot of support on the left too. So could still be a bouncing spot. Ultimately, though, of course, the break of this resistance could be the moment where we get a green light for the upside break later this week. Euro New Zealand, we talked about the fact that it could bounce at the 38.2 fib here, and it did just a little bit lower and then rally up to the resistance of the channel and then potentially bounce, and it did that indeed. Now, well, I think that it could still be, it's still looking more like a bullish scenario to me. We can connect these dots like this, right? And we see important support trend line. So this could be a hook back for a bounce. So this could be a bouncing spot right here at around 162, 162.50. And basically, if it does bounce, it will retest this resistance trend line again. And if it breaks that, there could be a breakout to the upside. All right. If it breaks the support trend line, of course, there could be a break to the downside. All right. So Euro odd, pretty choppy. There is momentum to the upside here. So I would still say that considering that and the choppiness, an upside break is still more interesting, but it would have to break above this resistance trend line for more upside. Otherwise, it's pretty much still very corrective. Pound odd, basically, good uptrend, 4-hour chart, definitely uptrend, but the strong momentum to the downside is worrying me, and I think that basically there could be an ABC up, but there could be an expanded correction. So I'm not a big fan of the pound odd, nor the pound losing at this moment. Here too could be in a correction as well, making some kind of correction like this, but that correction could go a bit deeper too. So not a big fan. It is at support though at the moment. Could be a bouncing spot. I'm not a big fan of the pound losing and the pound odd basically at this moment, nor really the euro odd unless it breaks to the upside. Overall still bullish, but corrections seem to be starting sometime soon. So I think I would be waiting for more info. We can revisit that on Wednesday when I release the second kind of update throughout the week as a mid kind of update. And then, of course, on Sunday, we have a new analysis like today. But yeah, so basically to wrap it up, I like the euro pound. I like the potential of the dollar yen. I'm not sure. I hope I discussed the dollar yen. Not sure at this moment, actually, if I did. Dollar yen, basically in the channel to the upside. And you can see that I think that if price were to break the support trend line, there could be a 5-wave pattern. If it does break, I'm not that interested in this break. I would rather wait for an ABC correction to finish and then look for a short for a bigger move down. All right. So if it breaks, I'm looking for ABC and trading the end of the C wave for downside. If it doesn't break, or if it doesn't break this bottom, then there's a chance that price might continue with the trend. You see a good channel to the upside. So if it breaks this resistance trend line like this, there could be one more push up to the minus 272 target, right, within this channel at 122.90. All right, so it's a small trade on the lower time frames, but possible. So that's the dollar yen in the bigger picture of things, scheme of things, basically. Sorry, basically, price is in a range, right? So what this is now completing probably a 5-wave. If it pushes one more up, it could complete finally that 5-wave, and then a bigger ABC correction could occur on the dollar yen. So, well, for the moment, I think the euro pound is the most interesting. Probably the euro dollar I'll explain in a separate video. Pound is interesting. Aussie Kiwi in their own way. Dollar CAD, all of them have something interesting to keep an eye on. I probably like the pound versus the odd New Zealand, and probably the yen the least at this moment, and the euro odd. The others seem to be interesting, and I'm going to keep an eye on them throughout this week. Now, of course, this is my analysis. I will be trading the analysis with my SWOT system. You can check that out on elitecurrency.com and go to ecs.swot, and you'll see exactly how I tackle those entries and translate the analysis into actually trade setups. Of course, you can check out elitecurrency.com to sign up for free material as well, PDFs and stuff like that. And that's about it for today. See you soon, and wish you all great trading. Cheers.